Hello, friends. Today we are at Nalanda and we are in a spot which is popularly known as Nalanda University. What we are seeing is ruins of ancient Buddhist university which was established around 5th century AD. This place was visited by Buddha as well as Mahavir, due to which this spot is considered to be very sacred, and in their memory certain Raja had erected a temple in the spot. Later, a biggest university was established in this place. This place is said to be around 10 kilometer across 10-kilometer area and made of nearly 7,000 to 10,000 students at the time of its peak prime. It was uh, hosting, and uh, there were nearly 1,500 scholars who were teaching these students at its peak. Today, the excavation site that we see on the surface of Earth is around 1 square kilometer, and we can identify structures such as chaityas, stupas, and remains of the cremation places of various saints and scholars who were died at that point of time. The smaller structure that you're seeing here, which is having a shape of a round in the top and a cubical structure in the base, these are the places where various scholars were cremated, and in their memory, these stupas were erected on top of the ashes of those scholars. This is said to be the first university established in the world. and it was hosting scholars who were studying more than 100 subjects, and for each subject there was a department wherein Bihars were constructed, where students used to study, attend the discussions and the classes, where their teachers were also co-located with them in a boarding come kitchen and dining, along with the classes as well as study halls. Each individual student was provided with a separate room, and some of the rooms were having a confined space for meditation or vipassana. The university was center of study, the centric theme being Buddhism. However, there were other students from other faiths were also studying at different times. Along with the Buddhism, there were subjects like Tattva, medicine, and other scientific studies were taught. Since this was a center of Mahayana Buddhism, you can predominantly see statues of Buddha at various spots, and Buddha was being worshipped here in the form of Murti. The structure that is showing a Buddha figurine is synonymous to a temple. These murtis that you see, as well as the base structure, is the same as that of old built. This entire structure was under the earth due to uh, earthquake that happened, and the entire area was covered by mud. This was later discovered by British people, and they made efforts to excavate the area that we are seeing today. At the peak of this university, as I told already, there were so many students studying in this place, and a lot of it was a center of knowledge. Nalanda, the name itself suggests that this is the place of knowledge. There are certain stories behind why it was attacked in the 12th century. However, there are certain facts that we already know, that the attack happened under the leadership of Bakhtiar Khilji, who is a Turkish Afghan, and he wasn't very keen among the the philosophy that was taught mainly. So, whatever the reason may be, the fact remains the same. The university, mainly the core of the university, which was the library, which was said to be multi-floored building, hosting so many Bhojpatra and Tamrapatra lekhas on various subjects, was set fire. And the fire was spreading across the university. Many students and scholars were killed in this incident or the attack. The fire said to be lighting for 6 months, and you can still see the tarred appearances of certain bricks in this place. The blackish tint that you see on the structure is because of the fire. The destruction of this university happened in 12th century. So from the initial days, it really operated for around 700 years, and it was the center of knowledge at that point of time. People from mainly Eastern Asia had traveled here. One of the main chronicler in history being Huan Sang, a well-known traveler from China, had visited this place. He was impressed by the system at Nalanda. He made the notes of the way this place functioned in a very detailed manner. He was so impressed by the knowledge here that he said to be having built a temple nearby with due respect to this place. This notes from Huan Sang serves as one of the available literature about Nalanda at that point of time. Later, because of the burning down of the library, we have lost huge amount of knowledge that was present here. Later, this attack was also reason for the decline of Buddhism, which was otherwise in prime in Indic region. This place that you're seeing is the spot which is kind of used as a representation of Nalanda University. You can see it in the major sketches or the pictures anywhere. Uh, Even during the recent G20 that was hosted by India, guests from G20 countries were brought to this place, and the place of Nalanda University was indicated as a center of knowledge, the past glory of India, and representation of Indian culture to the world. If you visit Nalanda University, you will definitely feel the pride that we had such a well built, well structured university which had advanced systems in place. What we can see, observe in the most modern universities, the open classrooms, the open debates on various subjects. All these things happened in India in 5th century. That is something which every one of us should feel proud about. Only request with the tourists here is do not deface the structures. You might be scratching a piece of brick, but the brick is from the history that we have got in our heritage, and we have to pass it to the coming generation, not only of India, it's the property of the world. Yep. You can observe the drainage system here, very systematic, and it is said to be having a structure which was similar to Harappa Mohenjo-daro, which is again our heritage, the Sabhyata that we had almost at the beginning of the humanity, or beginning of humanity in a social world rather. Seen now was the vihara, or it's a combined hostel and study. The spot that you see here had a murti of Gautam Buddha and students. The darker color that you see is because deformed during the certain elements in the wall can be seen as molten. You can imagine that deformed the walls. We are seeing the corridor and again we see the corridor and observe the drain and individual quarters where students and scholars लोग बहुत है लोग बहुत है ना observe the corridor and individual quarters of students and scholars for each 7 students. The individual quarter that was allocated to students and scholars remain the same. There was provision to keep the books, and some of the quarters had a space for meditation as well. This particular quarter has an interesting story behind it. A few years ago, around 2016, a 3-year-old son of King of Bhutan had accompanied his mother to this spot because the 3-year-old boy was insisting that he has to visit Nalanda. When he came here without any guided information, he started narrating the stories of Nalanda. He mentioned he used to stay in this quarter, and his name was Virochana. As per the history, Virochana was one of the scholars who lived in Nalanda, and the narration done by this was quite similar to what the historians had noted about Nalanda. So, this story is kind of bringing us an important point that of historic scholar has taken place, and that is the reason the boy recalls the history. as if he had seen it in his own eyes. Quite mysterious, isn't it? This place that you can see now is a open classroom as well as it used to serve as a kitchen and dining place, and the structure that we are seeing here is a place where lectures used to take place. Observe the basis set of modern universities also do have this kind of a structure. If you observe large pillars erected on a stage, the structure that we are seeing now in the center of the hall is not the historic one as such. This was later built by British when they found a remains, lot of remains of students who were killed during the attack of 12th century. So if you remove a hall where there were sitting arrangements for place to hold the lectures and a well as a source of fresh water, the places where food was cooked, the storage space where items like rice was stored for the consumption of the industry. This you can see a lot. This place was announced to be World Heritage Site. One of the conditions for being a World Heritage Site is all the development activities or things that ruin the basic structure of the spot has to be stopped. The activities should be restricted. Hence, now nobody is allowed to take any path other than the designated spaces. So the movement above the structure is restricted. No one can go there. This is the The walls of the structure is around 12 feet wide. You can observe how strong this place must be. This structure that we are seeing is a kind of small temple where Buddha's statue was present. You can observe the pattern of the platform over which Buddha's statue was situated. The thick walls used to protect the people living inside from the heat during the summer and from the cold during the harsh winters. This quarter is also has an important observation to be made. This kind of provision for the students to concentrate. You can observe people from different countries, from the countries where Buddhism is still followed, mainly the countries like Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, do visit this place. Everybody a great tribute to this place. Many people worshipping the corners of this. However, the basic structure, the foundations remain intact. As the entire university was said to be 100 square kilometer around, but now it is only 1 square kilometer is excavated. However, under the earth it remains protected, not only from the weather and climatic elements, but also from the people who otherwise deface this wonderful structure. Blame it to the lack of civil sense. It's a matter of shame. So, as a tourist, we encourage people not to touch the structures as much as you can, and definitely not deface these structures.
सही बात है